Perfect.
Hey guys, we're back again. This is a Urotherapy training course number 21, class number 4. We're going to kick it off with a communion. Did everybody bring some groovy golden water? Oh, look at that classy cup for a classy girl. Recycled nut butter jar. I mean,
Perfect. Perfect. Plastic cup from the rental.
excellent, excellent. So this is the water that has brought a lot of people satisfaction and relief from their suffering, their bodily suffering, from their emotional imbalances, from their chaotic life. Just have this water given to you, returned to you, and used correctly has been bringing people back to life. So cheers to the water of life.
Cheers.
Name a few. Let's kickstart with a pop quiz.
Oh boy.
And you want to be a teacher, huh? Okay.
Yep.
I mean, this morning on Facebook, I posted, does anybody have a response that you use when people say it's a disgusting waste product? And then I followed that post up with, whatever they say, if you say bullshit, you just lost them.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't challenge them. You listen, listen, listen. So name any number of Shivambu wisdoms.
Oh man, I should have reviewed that.
I love this part.
I'm drawing, unless I look at my notes, I'm drawing a complete blank right now.
Come on, use your intuition.
What's that?
Use your intuition. Intuition, number 1.
Intuition. It is an intuitive medicine.
Yeah. Does it have the need for any kind of dogma or considerations to use it?
No.
Why? Oh, okay.
Dogma, no. Considerations only beyond with the mental realm, and not just, you're not going to benefit from it from just drinking it and then going about your crappy thoughts. You have to, really embody what it is and what it is used for, that it is part of you.
Okay, so what you're edging on is that holistic model. The 4 pillars of health. All right, number 3, does it matter whose gender, what age, what state of health, or what species of orin you use?
Technically, no. It does not.
Okay.
I think if you're looking for specific things, maybe, but like fertility, for example, if you're, switching with your partner, that's a thing, but no, it is all beneficial.
Okay. Is there anything you cannot heal with Shivambu?
Not that I haven't found yet.
Okay. What does it mean by saturation dosing?
As much as you possibly can in every way possible.
Short and sweet. I love it. Okay. What is meant by the term evolving or evolutionary in terms of orin?
It is a much better way of saying the aging, because as it sits out, it increases in stem cells and it evolves in its beneficial properties, increases potency, I guess is a good analogy.
It's like a fine wine.
Yes. Wine of the gods.
Gods. We had a lovely conference call the other day, and Stampana from Botswana, she happens to be in Bermuda right now. She came on, and she's the one who gave me the expression "you juice."
Oh, yes, yes.
It's a wonderful idea. I like it. So any questions about anything up until now, all the way up to chapter 12?
Oh, no, I think I got to chapter 16 when I was reading, but.
Oh, you're ahead of the class.
I try.
You get an extra star on your chart. Okay.
Is it a golden star?
It has to be golden star. It would have been a pisser not to use gold.
Perfect.
I saw my next car driving around the island. It's a Toyota 4Runner, and I want it to be piss yellow.
Perfect.
I've seen one that's like a yellowish, greenish, kind of like the eyes of a dragonfly eyes, that kind of
Oh, okay.
greenish. But I've not quite seen it piss yellow yet, but I'll keep my eyes open.
There you go. There you go. Love it.
It'd be hard for me not to put marquees and signs on the car. I might stand up. All right, we're going to go with chapter 12 today. And chapter 12 is how do you survey, and what's the survey thing? You're inquiring, asking people questions so you can see what direction you're going to go in your session. And so when you get a feel for, all right, what are their belief systems? How do they do their health and their diet and their life and their lifestyle and everything, you get a better idea what direction to go without trying to superimpose it over the session.
Indeed.
Or without profiling them and go, oh yeah, I got her figured out. This is where it's going to go. You don't know that.
Yeah.
So you have to be very present and very attentive to what you're doing. So these are just some questions. I threw some at you originally in our email, but you'll see question after question through various chapters to stimulate your ideas about what questions you would ask them. Now, one of the things I learned years ago in professional sales, and this thing is very also, it also affects relationships. It also affects all the people on social media that you communicate with. And what they teach in good sales is the person who's asking the questions controls the conversation.
Yeah.
So when someone's going off on you, throw a question at them and throw a monkey wrench in their brain.
I have heard that technique before.
Yeah, it seems to work, particularly if you got the right questions. So here's some of the questions that are in this chapter. Who was your influence? Why did you get started? Any defining moments that led to your decision? What kind of mental obstacles did you have to go through to take that first drink? Are you ready to make a commitment? Did you have a gag reflex? You said you didn't, right?
No, I don't recall.
All right. Some people, when you suggest they should drink their pee, you can look at them shaking in their boots. It's almost like they're at the precipice, ready to jump off the ledge, and they're not sure if they're going to be safe trusting you, or this is the end of them. So you have to be as confident, as certain, and as down to earth and ready for them when you start taking them down that road. Because they want to make sure that you're not a nutcase. I can trust you. And I've had plenty of hits on that one, so I'm good. Have you used any of the other protocols? If you did, what did you like? Which was your favorite? Where did you get your training, your education? It was from a book? Was it a YouTube video? I had a moment, just a minute. I had a moment. I left the library yesterday, and there's this gal, she's all like 25, 27. Like you, she's got tattoos all over the place. She's sitting on a park bench out in front of the library. And as I walk by, she says, "You're Brother Sage, you're famous. I know I started urine therapy 9 months ago." I said, "Really?" And we had this long conversation. I gave her a copy of the Healing Water from Within book and said, "Hey, we got 20-something people on this island. Let's get together."
Yeah. That's amazing.
I know that happens from time to time, and it's very humbling because it ain't this guy, the ego, or the name that's as important as I did my job. Because we don't need the kudos. If you're doing your job, you're doing it right.
Yep. Agreed.
And I got tripped up when I first started because I was all over the place. I'm going, I'm somebody. My mom would be proud. My ex-wife would have been happy with me. I'm going, shut up. You do the work. You see how subtle that stuff is? Very careful. Do you think you'll ever consider stopping this practice? I ask that question all the time. What
I don't know
advice?
why you would.
You good? You got something?
Yeah, I was saying, I don't know why you would stop the practice.
People have. You'll hear people say all kinds of stuff when you're out there, like I am on social media. There's someone who says, you know what? I was using urine therapy 10 years ago and I quit. But something changed and I feel the need to get back involved with it. I'm going, you gave up 10 years for what? You could have been even better off now had you, yeah. So people fall off the path.
Yeah.
Or
I
something happens.
I say, I think it can be difficult too if you don't have a supportive network either. Like if you're just kind of on your own island and you're the only one doing it, you know, everybody thinks you're crazy.
That's why I'm grateful there's social media, because if there wasn't, I'd be on an island. So would you. Or
Yep.
parts of you. Costa Rica's in the island, right?
Yeah, it's I think it's technically called Island because it's water on both sides. So it's not a peninsula or an island, but it's got coasts on both sides.
Okay, close enough.
Close enough.
All right, we're moving into chapter 13. How do you think you would posture yourself? You've heard that expression before.
Mm-hmm.
Posture yourself. What state of mind would you bring to a session to prepare yourself before this? How would you mentally prepare yourself if you're going into a session, whether it's a consult session, a psychotherapy session, even a bodywork session? How do you prepare yourself before you get into a session?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I'm trying a new therapy on Tuesday that I've never tried before and just heard of. So I go into it with a very open mind and try not to have any expectations of what the outcome is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And just being very open to learning about the process and, you know, what it involves and how I can integrate it into my life is a big thing. I think a lot of people overlook with certain therapies because it's, you know, only a small portion of the work happens when you're in the session. It's integrating it into the rest of your life that is important.
Yes. And when you start this new work? When do you
How will
start?
how will I go into it?
Oh, no. The question is, when will you start?
The urotherapy teaching?
No, this new form of therapy you've never done before.
Oh, it's on Tuesday. It's called the completion process. It's by somebody in the community that we're moving to does it. And she was trained by Teal Swan in that. So just
I
kind of
love
came
it.
across on a WhatsApp and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. We'll give that a try.
Yeah, well, I've gone through a lot of these kind of trainings. There was the life training, there was this training and that training. And what you realize is the moment you've already agreed and committed to do the training, you're already in it.
Yep. Yep.
It's working on you right now. That'll make it easier for you to get through it without any hiccups.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say about preparing for a UT session?
From a teaching perspective or a client perspective?
No, you're the teacher slash facilitator.
Again, I would just go into it with a very open mind and not having any expectations on the client's actions. And, you know, because they're the ones that need to do the work. I can facilitate and give them the education, but I can't really do much beyond that. So,
Yeah, that's the posture to take. You're
Mhm.
not there to fix them, save them, change them, any of that. You're
Mhm.
there to show them where to stand and help them with their thoughts and so forth.
Mhm.
Good. Then you won't have a savior complex.
No.
There's plenty of those
Trying
going
to
on.
avoid that at all costs.
Yeah. That was the trip up that got people in the 80s when they started locking onto the term, I'm a healer. I'm going, really? Your life sucks. I don't know. Okay. So, how does a teacher prepare for a session is just as important as for the teacher as it is for the client. We're on page 173. With the general understanding of urotherapy from studying the manual, which this is, and your experiences, you're already a teacher. The work begins when you are with a client, following your intuition, trusting that the session will be perfect in every way. You'll find yourself, and I learned this years ago from facilitating rebirthing sessions. You know, ever heard that before, rebirthing?
Yes, I've looked into the trainings. I'm very interested.
Oh, yeah. We can do a session on Zoom. I figured it out. But when you've done enough this kind of work and you know where people are and you know when they're at that moment of breakthrough, your intuition says, this is a defining moment. Lay down. We're going to breathe now. You can feel them. They're ready. They're prepared. They just don't know what step. They're a little bit nervous about it, but you can see it. You can feel it in their field. You go, okay, lay down. This is time. We're going to do this now. We're in. Too late. We're into it. Let's keep going. So it could be the same thing when you're doing your UT sessions. They've reached out to you. Their life is a little bit off balance. They're feeling scared, helpless, and anxious about what to do about their health. They're not paying attention to any of the details of their life. And this is where you come in, because you get to inquire and dig deep and help them figure it out. That's our work.
Perfect.
You're going to help them navigate through their mind, get through the beliefs, the programming, the thought patterns, until they don't have to rely on them anymore. Wow.
Reprogramming.
That's interesting, because that's what they called it back in the 60s, when they had the TV guide and you had like 4 channels and a remote, and mom would say, what programs would you like to watch tonight? They were using the expression programming while programming us.
Yep.
I wish I'd have got it back then. I figured that out. That would be great. It would have saved me years of watching television. So in this chapter, we're going to also include a look and an exploration of breath, meditation, centering, trusting one's inner knowing, our guidance before starting a session. It's very useful if the client is willing to play with you, to bring that up during the session. Take 10 breaths. Let's just be present with each other and clear our mind of anything we brought to the session, and you know, start from there. Sometimes you'll have it like a 5-10 minute meditation. Sometimes it's just a centering process to make sure they're really there with you.
There's one creator that I follow, Primal Priestess, and does a lot of like ceremony and ritual stuff. And I watched a couple of hers, and she like always opens her videos of like opening the container and, you know, just like centering yourself. And I was like, I really like that. Like, I feel like that's a good thing to like bring into a session with clients. So I'll give that a try.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be on the same page with them. Then they're more receptive. All labels on page 174. 174. I said too fast. I'm not in a hurry, really. It's almost Saturday. The beach can wait. We're in class. Okay. All names and labels of what the medical system calls diseases or illness is based on a diagnosis, which is a theory, which comes from their medical education and is just a suggestion. Of course, we're not trained to know that that's a suggestion. According to Don Miguel Ruiz, did you ever hear of his book or read it, The 4 Agreements?
I'm pretty sure I have it. I believe it's in storage. I got to dig that out yet. So.
Okay. He says in the book that when you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you a name of an illness, he's put you under a spell. He says it's black magic. And so once the doctor, and I had to tell this to a friend of mine who could not figure out if she wants to go to a doctor. She was having a hard time with it. I said, you know how this goes. You've been down that road. You get into his office. He's going to pull you into his web, get you in a spell. And then before you realize it, he's got you either scheduled for an operation or prescription. And she said, thank you. And she never went to the doctor.
I bet she's doing much better now.
She's doing much better, and she drinks her pee, and she's a dear friend of mine. She moved over from a client to a good friend.
Beautiful.
Which people tell me you're not supposed to cross the line, but most of my clients, I love them. So I'm not going to do. We're bringing hope, courage. We're getting down to the bottom, page 174. We're bringing hope, courage, strength, and motivation to every client. Mastering the daily practice of AUT teaches you how to teach others how to master the discipline needed to heal and accomplish anything. Using your breath and meditation or rituals before or during a session sets the stage or energy for you to get the most out of each session. The deeper you can relax the client. Now, your job is to be, before you enter the treatment, I learned this from doing massage for so many years, you want to clear yourself, your field, your psyche, whatever, so that the moment you walk into that session, you're basically at the end of the session that you're going to guide them to achieve, to reach. So while they're in there, listen to this, while they're in your presence, layers of things are falling away. Just the fact that you're present with them, just the fact you're clear, you're steady. They get insights a lot faster. And so you don't have to pull out all your fancy education to help them out. This is why psychotherapists have a hard time. They're constantly trying to psychoanalyze people without just, showing compassion and listening.
Yeah.
That's why I don't date psychotherapists. I had one, and that was so intense. She kept psychoanalyzing me, and she wasn't playful. She was only in a good mood when there was lovemaking. I'm going, that's up to a point. That only lasts so long. So anyway, enough about me. Let's go back to class. Teaching others how to practice daily conscious breathing creates calm and joyous humans who, by the nature of their mindfulness to the breath, spread conscious breath work to many other people during their life journey. Other centering practices may include, and I did this morning, it was wonderful, went down to the park and did some Qigong. But I did intentionally, I was doing Qigong toward the drivers so they would be safe on their travels.
Oh, wonderful.
So these are different things that you're probably already using, but it's a good reminder. And the people who read the book or watch the video that help you get present and center. They include Tai Chi, Qigong, chanting, meditation, laughing, dancing, doing art projects like sculpting, painting, drawing pictures, and I'd add two more. I already put in laughing, but add two more things to the list: Tantra and being silly for no reason. As you can tell, I'm so serious about everything. I'm serious about the subject. So these are various things that you can do to help yourself be present at any time during the day, not just as you lead into the session. So when you get on information overload and you've got way too many things going on and you're not present, you've got to break free long enough to create a calm space again so you can go back into it with the right pace and the right state of mind. Because you've seen people that they're overloaded with information, education. They got too many projects piled on their shoulder and they look like it's going to fall apart anytime. Don't be that person.
I have been that person.
Yeah, no kidding. So you got to, be more mindful of how you're running your energy and how you manage it. Every student may get inspired to either share or in therapy with others, become a UT teacher someday. Always look at the big picture of UT for humanity and how every person is affecting the evolution for future generations. I'll drink to that.
Cheers.
How fresh is yours?
Now about 30 minutes.
30 minutes. It's evolving as we speak.
Indeed.
So any questions about leading into a session?
No, I don't think so.
All right, good. Now, these next couple of chapters, let's go into this one right here. There's going to be more questions. We're going to look into what a session looks like. And then there's a couple of examples of some of my sessions, which I won't go into, but you can see them. And for confidentiality purposes, and this is something you've got to remember, is if they give you okay to share their story, you'll probably use fictitious names are their initials, because most people have said things out of confidentiality, trusting you in a session, and doesn't go past you. Like, for example, some of my clients wanted the Zoom to be recorded just so they could have the recording, but never put it on a platform, never upload it.
Is that something you do?
I still do that.
Okay.
Even when I've had classes and World Urine Therapy conference calls, there's always somebody who says, I don't want you to record this. So we put it on a privacy setting so that only the person who had that link, which would have been the student, could review it, and the public couldn't see it.
Yep. No, that makes sense. I'd actually noted about that.
Okay, so looking into a session, remember, clients seeking you for guidance, counsel, and to be on their team. That's what they really need to know. They want to know that you care more than you know. And this is also applicable to nutritional sales and marketing. There's so many new things that are out on the market right now. The new it pill, the new magic bullet, the new, whatever it is. They're inundated with all that right now. If you want to share anything with somebody, they need to know that you care, that there's somebody important to you. Instead of here's another new thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've been careful on social media because I've got name recognition all over the planet. So people will go, why are you introducing something when you're just drinking your pee and living off fruit? Like, what's all this other stuff? Because there's not a lot of people who are just doing their life in the purity journey. There's always something new. And then you talk to the guys in India, they're going, just drink it and put it up your nose and eat healthy. You'll be fine. I like a simple approach.
Can't argue that.
Right. Go barefoot and hug a tree. Some of us 70s love children are always going to be that way.
Yeah.
That ain't leaving me. I'm still a rainbow family. I didn't do Burning Man, but rainbow family, yes. All right. So at this point, you can begin inquiries. Many bring their anxieties and concerns about their illness or condition, page 178, to the session of conversation. So keep reminding them to breathe. You're building a relationship. Your role is multifaceted, and you can appear to play many roles. As you move through a session, discovering as much as you can about their diet, their lifestyle, their self-care, their mindset, you're listening for clues to reveal the true cause of their illness. Now, being a student of Louise Hay and the people who've been teaching us how thought is creative and we create our experience, our health or lack of health based on our thinking, that answers a whole lot more than, oh, you ate the wrong food, or you got infected by this or a parasite that. It takes more responsibility to admit that, yeah, you've had some stinking thinking. It's time to upgrade your mind.
Stinking thinking. I like that.
And a lot of people, myself included, have fallen into that place of forgetfulness. You had something happened into your life and it built a belief system. It could have been an abusive situation, or it could have been the loss of a loved one. And you built this belief system, and it stays with you, and it affects you your whole life, and it can affect your health until you shine a light on it and clear it.
I think a lot of people don't realize that yet either. They just see the surface level kind of stuff of, oh, well, I'm not exercising. I went and ate Taco Bell last night or whatever it is. That's why I'm not feeling good. But I can definitely say personally, that's one thing that I've discovered over the last couple of years is there's a lot of underlying stuff that needs to be dealt with too, in order to really bring that true healing forward. So.
Yeah. And so part of your work is to help them to become more honest with themselves. Tell the truth. That's what Sandra Ray taught me years ago. She says, if you want to have a loving relationship, tell the truth as fast as you can, whatever comes up, whatever arises in you. Don't write a story about it. Don't criticize it. Just tell the truth about it. And then what's really underneath it will be revealed and you can heal it out.
Mm-hmm.
Without being on guard or suppressing because you are feeling awkward that what you're saying might embarrass you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Say it, be embarrassed, get over it.
Yep.
That's the tough love approach.
Yep. Yep.
Tell the truth. All right. You'll get to know them as well as they know themselves by focusing on their words, thinking, and energy. Find out why they chose UT as their healing method. Since they chose you as the coach, that tells you they trust you. And it is this trust that you will keep in mind when you keep your, it is this trust of you that will keep their mind open to your questioning, guidance, and suggestions. Breathe, remind them often to take deep breaths. Let's get started. During the inquiry stage of the consultation, the questions aren't in any particular order. These are just some of the questions that you will be asking them or making up your own questions. So these are just ideas to get your mind stimulated to other questions you'll ask.
So now, when you do a UT session with people, are you giving them like questions in advance? So you have some kind of, or you're just going into it? Okay.
Yeah, we're going in. What do they say? Going in blind. Yeah,
Okay.
we're walking in. One thing I do, and this is up to you, I give them a 20-minute meet and greet free mini consultation first.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. And then somewhere in 15, 20 minutes of it, I ask them, so from what you heard today out of our conversation, does it feel like we're a fit and do you want to go further and do a full session?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't resonate with them, what's the point?
Have you ever had scenarios where they're like, I really want to work with you, and you're like, I don't think this is right?
Oh, from my side?
Yeah.
Rarely. It's been known to happen.
Okay.
And it's usually somebody I pick up who is like a professional complainer.
Yeah. Yep.
You know the ones, they're hypochondriacs. No matter what you suggest, it ain't going to work for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're constantly broken.
So then how do you handle that then?
I'll pass them on to Megan in Canada. I mean, and that's the other thing that is just as valuable is to have backup teachers and therapists that you can recommend them to. Because if you feel like you're not a fit for them, you're not going to, drop the ball on them, but you'll pass them on to somebody, and those two can see if they can work it out. Megan, I didn't mean to say your name on that.
Well, that works both ways then too, I suppose, when you're building connections with other healers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we support each other.
Mm-hmm.
As I will do with you after this class is over. Oh, by the way, be sure to send me how you want your name on your certificate of completion.
Yep.
So whether you want it's Keegan-Diana or Keegan,
Probably.
just let me know so I can get it to the graphics designer before
I was updating all my socials yesterday, so.
All right. So you
Goes
caught
out
up?
to you. Yep.
All right. That could have been a lot of work. Who knows? So here's some of the questions. You've heard them before. You'll hear them again. It's just nice to ask because you can find out their relationship with everything. And some of these have to do with how unconscious people eat. And this is like the majority of people are unconscious, that they eat too much. They eat late at night. They don't chew their food. They have no idea how to combine food properly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was in a raw food community for 3 or 4 years, and we thought, oh, if it's raw foods, that's all that really matters. So we would pile on everything. And I saw raw food vegans getting sick. I go, what is this?
That's all right.
Yeah, it threw me for a loop, but that's okay. So here's some of the questions. I already said some of them. What do you eat? What size of proportions? How many meals a day? How often? How late? Do you chew thoroughly? How early do you eat? What did you eat today? That's the eating part. And you'll come to find out the people who eat 3 meals a day, snacks in the afternoon, a midnight snack at night, they've been programmed to eat that way. And to suggest these people to do 1 meal a day or intermittent fasting scares them. You know, if they think their food is their source of nutrition or energy, then, you know, you have to teach them otherwise.
Yep, trying to break my kids of that yet.
They're going to be watching you closely, Mom.
Yep, I know.
I noticed that Mom didn't eat anything today. Is she okay?
Actually, my 8-year-old daughter has been saying that she wants to start skipping breakfast and doing fasting in the morning. So she picks up on stuff very quickly, very quickly.
All
And we
right.
were having a discussion, my husband and I were having a discussion last night about our 6-year-old son and switching him more to a fruitarian diet because he is like sugar obsessed. Anytime there's like anything sweet around, he just like is like, ah. So, and he's cool with just eating fruit. So that's a good start.
Yeah. Somebody did experiments once and they put out 2 bowls of food in front of a kid. I think it was like 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds, whatever. They did this little project. They would put out a normal meal, whatever that means, that their parents would serve them, and a plate full of fruit. And they found out that the kids pick fruit first every time. All right, they intuitively knew that. Oh, that looks like tasty, yummy. I don't care about that. And they could go to fruit. And I tested that out at a Thanksgiving potluck years ago. I switched from being the guy who made all the salads to the guy who made all the fruit salads.
Oh.
And while everybody's hanging around in the living room about to take their seats before we did our little prayer and communion, 7 people came up to me and says, "Do you mind if we have some of your fruit salad before the meal starts?" I said, "Please. But don't eat the meal. Just have the fruit."
Yeah. It's nature's candy.
It is nature's candy. All right. So here's a question. What do you do to quiet your mind? What if any are some of your spiritual practices? Do you practice intermittent or regular fasting? As you are gathering information, bottom of 179, you are also listening and to their choice of words, descriptions and emotions they express behind their words. Now, if it's on a video call and if you're really paying attention, you can watch their body posture change. When you bring up a question, you could see them. What do you mean by that? Huh? What do you mean by that? So your job is to be really dialed in and sensitive to them. And know that it's already preordained how it's going to work out, so you can just be present and enjoy it. I mean, years ago, I used to prepare scripts before I did interviews, and I would always like prepare. And then I noticed that if you're just present with whatever the subject matter is, it always turns out better. Right? And when I did talks in front of people, I said, just give me a wireless microphone and cut me loose, and I'll walk in between people and up and down seats and going, I freestyle.
Perfect. I think those are some of the best speakers too, rather than the ones that are like up on stage and like I am the.
Yeah, I know they're checking their notes and they have a PowerPoint presentation and all. Yeah. So is that your style?
I've never really done public speaking. It's on my list of things to do.
All right. Well, start off with doing live streams. And you have an audience that you see and interact over the screen. They just can't reach out and touch you. All right, let's go on to this so I don't go down memory lane. Let's
I love listening to your stories. They're fantastic.
All right, in 1990, I was paid by the Texas Health Department to give a talk in front of 200 of their employees. So I chose the subject, you can have it all. And they gave me a microphone with a 200-foot cord to it because they did not have wireless Wi-Fi. And I walked up and down them and made a game show out of it. Instead of trying to preach, I'd put a microphone up in front of people and say, if you could have it all, what would it be? How would your life be any different? And I had so much fun. And I learned that public speaking isn't about, being influenced by, oh, the people are watching me and judging me. You're just presenting and being the messenger for whatever the talk is.
Yeah. I actually was watching a video just earlier about the fear of being seen. So, yeah. One of the things I'm working on is getting out there. So it's a good start.
You're going to be just fine.
Well, thank you.
By the way, we often get $300 to $500 views on the replays of our class shows.
Oh, perfect. I actually ran across somebody on Telegram the other day, and she was like, oh yeah, I was watching your video with Garza Sage, and I was like, oh gosh, thank you.
So too late, girl, you've been seen.
Yay.
All right, where are we? Giving them positive affirmations, the middle of page 180. We're going to take a break in 40 minutes. And giving them positive affirmations helps them to raise the quality of their thoughts about themselves in their life. Never underestimate the power of affirmations that could bring about shifts of perception that could be heard, felt, and integrated at any time during the session. Now, I'm constantly teaching affirmations. I've been an affirmations teacher and formulator forever. And to hear people say, no, that's hokey, that's hocus pocus, that's new age thinking, affirmations don't work. I said, you got to give it a try.
So my question is, what's the difference between an affirmation and a prayer?
Well, an affirmation is a prayer. But what we do with affirmations is choose your ideas on purpose. Instead of repeating the same ideas that are they're not producing the results you want, which is like the definition of insanity. You're going to use higher, like the affirmation I gave you about all the money was apparently lost, stolen, and delayed, blah, blah, blah. You want to use affirmations to be in a repetitive way so they become the new truth. They replace the limiting thoughts, the belief systems, and the affirmations that were causing you to not be happy and feel free.
And it's about feeling it too. Like
yes,
like with the prayer thing, like people are they're just repeating the thing, or even with affirmations, a lot of time they're just repeating it, but they're not feeling it. And the feeling part of it is what's gonna make all the difference.
Right. And then the prayer is one of those words, it's in the category of polarity.
Yes.
Because some people know how they understand a prayer to be, and some people say, well, a prayer might be begging to God, or a prayer might be giving thanks to the Holy Spirit. However it is, you're having a dialogue with the divine. And they never fail. The divine never fails. Oh, I get preachy. Okay. The divine never fails. Ask the client if they are open to quantum healing or to the possibility of healing everything during the session. I do this every time. Would you be open to the possibility of not only healing this specific condition that you've reached out to me to heal and address? Would you be open to the possibility of having quantum healing of everything in one session? And this is how Yeshua and the masters have been doing this since the beginning of time. And here it is, you're taking a completion course. Thank you, Teal. A completion course in which the masters, what they did is they've already see the person as complete. And then the job is to help them make that internal shift of perception to their wholeness and their mastery. Without telling them you have to commit to 10 sessions like a chiropractor. Well, a chiropractor, if your adjustments would only hold, I wouldn't have to come back.
Yeah.
Same with colon therapists. They used to say, you got to do 30 colonics in order to clean and heal and restore the gut. I'm going, are you kidding? Anyway, so a good way to stay present and on the same page, or on page 181, how much more of this chapter we got going. Yeah, we're doing good. Is to use audio or video recordings of every session. And the reason that that's useful is that people can stay present with you without having to write notes and break away from the two of you interacting.
Mhm.
I have clients, I have students that they write notes. I think that's totally fine. And some people don't, and that's totally fine. It's however you process.
As I sit here writing notes.
It's not a critique, okay? So that's the only reason that those are offered is that it keeps people from being distracted, allows the conversation to flow a lot easier.
Mhm.
And as you did so well, you cleared your mind of distractions before we started. Right? You're not reaching
Mhm.
for the phone. You're not having to turn around, check the kids.
Mhm.
Sean's in his happy place. Everything's fine. Use sensitivity, the bottom 181. Use sensitivity and discernment if or when you feel that it is appropriate to challenge them in any way or call them out on their beliefs, issues, behavior, or diet. Every now and then, I realize that they're not going to make any changes unless I call them out,
Mhm.
call them on their BS, because nobody else is doing it. And they actually will thank you, even though they might protest. And as a mom, you know how to be diplomatic and when to use that. And yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm sure you have plenty of experience.
Oh, yes.
So finally, Missy, where are we? We're in different stages. All right, the first stage is the listening and the paying attention stage. Oh, calming the mind. Number 2 is the listening, page 182. Is the listening paying attention to what they said and listen to what they're not saying? You know what I mean by that?
Body language, inflection in
Well,
their voice.
they're saying something, but you're hearing their belief systems, which they're not addressing.
Mm.
They're telling you why they're sick, and you're hearing that something's eating away at them or something is bugging them, but they're not willing to talk about it. There's a white elephant in the room.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that comes with your sensitivity. Some people will call you psychic. It's just that we're all connected. We're all one. So you start hearing things that they're not saying.
Mhm.
Number 3, compassion is the art of feeling what they are feeling as well as what you are feeling or picking up. Use of compassion will bring comfort and safety to a client. Now, this kind of material is not in all the urine therapy books. What was I thinking?
Outside the box.
I'm excited that I was guided to put that in there because people don't address the emotional mental counterpart with their wellness other than drink your pee.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
what's the science and what's the technology? Well, there's a lot of components to getting well, and this is why we bring in the holistic approach, because they'll not only make better changes, but they'll have a longer life to enjoy it,
Mhm.
which is what we're aiming for. Number 2 on this list. Oh, then you take the first step. The stages are steps to be discussed. Number 1, making the internal shift to unlearn what has been taught about Orin. Number 2, having the discovery or aha, known as the adjustment period. This is often felt as if somebody's dying or breaking apart, but in truth, a mere shift of perception disguised as a breakthrough.
Or integration.
Integration. This is what's going on with umpteen billion people on the planet. Their
Mhm.
reality is crumbling. Their sense of what's real is being questioned. And so this is why people are feeling wonky all the time.
Mhm. Mhm. And in a lot of areas, health, government.
Everything, because everything you've been led to believe was true is questionable.
Mhm. Mhm.
This is why on Sunday I'm giving a talk on physical immortality, because everybody's been led to believe that death is the only alternative, And yet the masters that have been around for thousands of years in the same body, they're here to show you differently.
Yeah, yeah. And where are you doing this talk?
It's on Telegram. The link is through holistichealthradio.com. Let me double check. And I just learned that on Telegram, they have it set up that you can do a live stream and you can have it holisticradio.org. You can have up to 200,000 people in your audience. And you don't have to pay Zoom. The only catch is it's audio.
Huh.
So holisticradio.org, the guy who runs it goes under the name of Zen Pagan.
Huh.
Ken is the Zen Pagan of that radio show. So if this show goes well, he's given me the platform to use every Sunday at 8:30 Hawaii time, which is 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is whatever Costa Rica time. I don't know these time zones unless I Google it, so don't ask. I love it when people say, well, what time is it in this country? I said, do you not know of Google? Have you ever heard of Google? They're asking you like you have all that filed away.
Yeah. Or an app on your phone. The Globe app works great. I tend to go to that quite often.
Yeah. We're spoiled with this technology. It's great. Number 3, finally, after the integration stage, the client knows they are home by a feeling of wholeness, peace, or home to the real authentic self. And this is where peace is, when you're no longer questioning who you are and you feel safe. If you ask 100 people what's their definition of peace, they'll all have a different answer. The same with liberation. I've heard that word for the last 40 years. Well, we're teaching liberation. We're helping people to get liberated. Is it from something or from your belief system? Because we're the one who put ourselves in prison. And we're the ones who are going to liberate ourselves. Yay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Bottom 183. Drop into your calm center. Be present and be compassionate. You're about to give 100% of your abilities to the client in the session. Page 184. Although most UT sessions average 60 to 75 minutes in duration, and the client will feel or know when the session is ending, or chooses to continue until it is complete. Now, I set a parameter if it's a 60-minute session, but there's wiggle room if they need an extra 15 minutes. But the majority of clients, for some reason, they want to feel accountable. So when the 60-minute mark comes by, they say, well, it looks like we're getting at the end of our session. I go, look, I guess so. Which is fine. I don't want them to feel rushed because it's taken them years to get messed up. So hurrying that moment is really not that as important. Grab a notebook and pen before the session begins, and you will be writing down as much of what the client is saying. These notes will give you clues in real time. How the client is describing, feeling, and thinking about their health, body, and their life and themselves. Your ability to listen is what is not being said to what is not being said is just as important to what is being said by the client. While you're taking notes during the session, you will also receive information or insights used to make recommendations which lead them to make the necessary changes to achieve self-healing and a better quality of life. And when it's all said and done and the session is over, they're going to think you are a gift from God. Which you are. All that for $125. Wow, what a deal. I met a guy who was processing me and he knew my shit and he knew exactly what my issues were. And he brought it up. We did a free mini session. And then he was ready to pull me right into a full out session. He says, okay, get out your credit card. It's $200. Let's get going on the session. And I immediately resisted. I'm going, I wasn't ready to lay out $200 today, but I'm glad you have enough self-esteem to charge that.
Yeah. Wow. That's an interesting sales tactic there.
That is, he was in control the whole time, and I realized it somewhere near the end there. Beyond telling them to drink and apply the Orin, your clients count on you for answers to tough challenges, guidance, and relief from stress and concerns. Practice, practice, practice. After the session ends, review your notes. Use this time to replay the session in your mind. This is optional, but it helps. And find any corrections to be made in your teaching, listening, or coaching skills. That way you'll have that knowledge before you go to another session. You go, well, what could have I done differently? Well, what did I do that needs to be changed?
Yeah, and I had noted if the client gives permission to record the session, that's also another good way to like go back and be like, oh, well, that was kind of stupid. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Could have done that better.
You could have done that better. You're doing the best you can, and every session is a learning experience. When working with clients, let them know that you will start the session or consultation with an Orin communion as a way to honor their water. It sets the tone for the session and their UT journey and allows spirit to guide the session. Life becomes so much easier when you do that. You let spirit guide you.
So you start all of your sessions, even like people that haven't
started
their journey yet?
Well, what you do, and we've done this on conference calls, is just tell them to hold up a bottle as a substitute, up a glass, and it's just going to represent. It's a symbolic act. And guess what that's imprinting on their mind? Have them take their bottle of water or an empty glass and just listen to the words, go ka-ching at the end, and just do it as a symbolic act. So what you're doing, you're building that in their mind. Oh, the thing missing is the urine. It's like seeing when you play, I was a bowler, and you could see where you're going to place your feet, slide your feet, cross over the ball crosses over the foul, the line before it goes right into the pocket to make the strike. And I always was able to play out the game in my head before I got up on the floor. And this is what all good athletes do, is they already played the game out in their mind.
Yep.
It's very Zen. All right. Any questions about preparations during a session? Questions to ask?
I think I asked them all along the way.
Okay. So you're embarking on an incredible journey just to be that kind of support structure for people. And whether you're acting as a teacher or a therapist, you're a mom. So you're going to bring such mom vibes into the conversation with your clients and with your friends. They won't know what hit them. She's like totally giving her attention and loving me. Can I take this? Yeah, you can. Hang in there. Hang in there. So in the next couple pages, I didn't name any of the clients, but I thought it would be nice if people could see, well, what if we could like be a fly on the wall and look into one of my sessions, what would it look like? So I put these in the books without naming the client. Some of the things that we talked about, some of the things we went through, some of the things that were suggested, some of the things that were acknowledged. And this is why these are included. We're not going to go into it at the moment. You can read it, or you probably already read it if you're past this chapter.
Yep.
So there was a client from India. There was a client from, I don't know the other client was from. It could have been UK or Australia. And so that's what that is. Looking into a session. And you probably had sessions before, but never thought of it as a session.
Maybe.
Any questions? So you're going to bring into the session the things you learned prior to this chapter. Right? You already kind of had an idea of what are the ingredients in Shivambu. You don't have to know 5,661 ingredients, but you get an idea what are the basics, what are people most concerned about. You learn the protocols, you know how to design and craft general treatment suggestions from doing this kind of work. You know how to respond to people who have negative associations with the urine. You know how to baby step people. You know how to reply to their comments. And then here's where the rubber meets the road. You're in a session.
Okay.
You're fearless. If you had sleeves, they would have been rolled up, but you don't have sleeves. So that's what these sessions are all about. And there may be other people than me doing these kind of work, consultations, whether they monetize it or not. It'd be great to have more people. You might be one of them. If you've been to seen the water directory over at brothersage.com. Have you been there?
Yep.
Okay. So these are people who are willing to get known, to be contacted, to let people know they're either a beginner, an intermediate, or a master teacher skill level. And the vision I had was to have somebody from every nation that practices UT. And so what you see there, and anybody who comes back and watches this video, you'll see what stage it's currently at.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Water Family Directory. So the next chapter is about going pro. What does going pro mean to you? What is turning UT hobby into a career? What the heck was that all about? And how? I didn't see that coming, but I was about to launch hemp microgreens to the planet. Did I tell you that story?
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
Hemp greens. Okay.
I discovered that all the hemp seeds, the hemp flour, the hemp health nuts, all the different hemp products across from Canada to the United States, and they came from lower Mexico and the United States, were radiated at the border. They were sterilized. So I'm going, wait, the only way you can really test and grow hemp and discover the nutritional powerhouse of the hemp seeds is to find non-sterilized, non-GMO seeds. So I had to source it out to Slovakia and Europe, and I put together a company, and we grew it at my house, and we had incredible results. We had hemp seeds, and the whole idea was to dry them out and sell these powerhouses to the superfood companies around the world. And so we had it all together, and we had the business plan, and we're getting investors. We found the warehouse. We had 3 people on the board of directors. And then all of a sudden, here comes a book on urine therapy. My life goes 365. So I went back to the partners. I said, I have to bow out. I can't do this business with you. And they said, how perfect. We want to quit too. So we disbanded the company, and we all went our different ways. And 6 years later, this is what I'm about.
Wow, that's funny. I was looking at hemp stuff the other day, actually.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Costa Rica, but in the United States, all of a sudden, after we launched it, hemp seeds became illegal in Colorado and in Kentucky, where they used to grow it, before the war. And all these states started making it legal to grow non-THC cannabis.
It is not currently legal here, but they are working on some legislation I did read. So I'm keeping an eye out on that to see what pans out with that. So
okay. So I digress. Chapter 15. Thank you for letting me do that. Chapter 15 is presenting your service professionally, which means it's a new career. Whether it's a full-time career, I mean, mine's full-time for the most part. I mean, locally, I'm doing foot massage and reflexology and, doing community projects. but it can be a very lucrative career. And it could cause you to come out of hiding and come out of, you know, isolation and collaborate with incredible souls across the planet.
Mhm.
Because you're going to meet these incredible pioneers and explorers in consciousness and in freedom that know that water is the basis of life, and our
Mhm.
body produces plasma water, which can regenerate our bodies. Why would I want to keep it to myself?
Mhm.
So when you're ready to, step on that stage and ready to use your voice in a way that can reach a wider audience, you will. And the message, being a messenger for a message that's bigger than you, will cause you to not be as intimidated by it as you used to be.
Mhm.
Because it used to scare me to think, I'm going to do what now? I'm going to be on radio shows. I'm going to stand up on stage in front of 1,500 people. I'm going to be at conventions. I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. I'm going, shut up, you're ready. And so before you realize it, you're in a position you never thought you could get into. And doing this as a profession borderlines on taking you there.
Mhm. It's interesting that you say being the messenger for the message, because in the video that I was watching earlier, I'm pretty sure she said pretty much the exact same thing. So I get it.
Yeah, Teal Swan, I've been following her for quite a few years, and she was a cutting edge thinker and leader in consciousness. And some people didn't know what to think about her. Some people thought she was controversial. Other people thought she was this, that, and the other thing. I'm going, yeah, but look how many people their lives have been improved.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, you have to look at what the result of these people.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So if you decide to do this, and if other people decide to do that, you might have to overcome a little considerations about what our partners and our parents and our friends think about us. Not only that we told them to drink their pee, but we decided we want to take it outside of the house and maybe go public with it. That puts you in another position.
Mhm.
And when you get to the point where what people think about you is none of your business, you'll have incredible courage.
Agreed.
It's like me going down to Pearl Street Mall in Boulder, Colorado with a permit from the city, hosting a table with 3 students and presenting urine therapy to a conservative community.
How'd that go?
Lots of liberals, a lot of conservatives. And we had 35 people came up to the table with that big yellow sign,
Mhm.
right? With books, someone holding a camera, and 35 people were curious, and 35 people asked questions, and only 2 people were critical and troublemakers.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Not too bad. And I'm sitting there going, what I got to lose?
Yep. Yep.
So you're likely to take chances and do things you never thought you would ever do because it's not about you.
Mhm.
I hope it lights a fire in you.
It is. Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So this chapter teaches the difference between teaching and counseling, if you never thought of it that way.
Mhm.
Teaching establishes a goal, gives information, possibly advice. The teacher conducts a needs assessment and identifies the learning, what they need, the challenges. And counseling is goal-oriented in a different way.
Mhm.
All right. So what they're doing is looking for including all these different wellness aspects, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. In other words, the client and the counselor, during their initial consultation, figure out what the client's needs are, probe or make inquiry to gather up the information, and then decide together where to go. So they're just as involved with the process as you are. And it's definitely more empowering if you get them to be part of it.
Mhm.
The role of the client, page 196. 196, the role of the client. The teacher leads. As an expert, they give information and recommend the course of action. The teacher helps the client achieve a skill or avoid a particular action. And in parentheses, I added the term unhealthy choices. And that's some of the actions that people are going to change is knowing better, but not doing better. I know I shouldn't eat a Taco Bell, but I go there because it's convenient and it's cheap.
Yeah.
Well, if you know that that's poison, why do that?
Mhm.
And the same with a lot of things that people eat, a lot of behavior and things people do, it's unconscious.
Mhm.
So it's great to help people wake up. Instead of eating mucus forming, acid, inflammatory, acidic, inflammatory, or human-made food, you'll suggest they eat living plant foods. Take a fast, take enemas, or practice meditation. And as I think about it, this lifestyle that you and I have, when you're eating healthy foods and you're laying in a tub of pee in the backyard with your lovely braids dangling behind it, and you're choosing well, and you're exercising, and you're nurturing yourself. To some people, they think we're part of an ashram or a spiritual community, and it's for those people, but not for us.
Mhm.
Right? And people need to know that this is about making healthy choices and choosing to take your health to a whole nother level. And these are some of the things that have been proven over millennium to work.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's not taught in school, and you won't hear it on television. So, we're the ones that are bringing this out.
Yep. Yep. Oh, they're still teaching the food pyramid, or I don't know. Kids aren't in school anymore, so I don't know what they teach. So.
Yeah, whatever it is, we're going back to nature and organic as soon as possible.
Mhm.
A counselor encourages a client to do most of the talking while the counselor listens, taking notes. These notes give clues, insights, and understanding of the depth of a client's cause of their health condition. The counselor facilitates the sessions. They do not make a decision for the client, but rather make general suggestions. We're not going to steal their power away. We're not even going to tell them they have to do anything.
Correct. When I was doing or trying to do health coaching quite a few years ago, I think one of the big things they said about like the difference with a coach is that our goal is to help the clients realize that they have the answers. We're just help guiding them to those answers.
Yeah, definitely. It's very empowering. The roles are very different between a teacher and a counselor. A teacher's job is to talk, instruct, while a client listens. A counselor listens, guides, and empowers the client. So it looks like you're going to wear both hats.
Mhm.
In short, the difference between teaching and counseling are the words direction and facilitation. Teaching focuses on directing, counseling focuses on facilitating. While coming to the closure or completion of every session, allow time for the client to express or communicate anything, especially if they are unclear about what was discussed or what to expect. Ask the client if they wish to schedule another session and go deeper. That leads to the follow-up. Now, after doing a lot of body work over, 45 years. Wow. After doing a lot of body work, you know that if a client comes and that's it, that's it.
Mhm.
So you always have your appointment book out. I mean, this is built in. I got your appointment book out. Hey, I got time on Tuesday and Friday of next week. What would you like to come back?
Mhm.
And you just talk about the follow-ups instead of just leave them hanging.
Mhm. Mhm. That's actually an MLM tactic I learned a while ago, is you have to kind of like look busy. So like I have these times and these times, which ones do you want? Rather than like, I am wide open.
Mhm. Yeah, the same thing with sales. It's called putting them in a box.
Okay.
You want to come Tuesday at 3 o'clock, or you want to come on Thursday at 3 o'clock? Oh, Tuesday? Yes, I happen to have that open right now. You're not going to tell them I got nothing else in the books. Yes, that will work really well. When you are both certain about doing more sessions, then reschedule them in 5 to 7 days. The reason we say 5 to 7 days, because that's about as much time as it takes them to not only integrate, but to keep the momentum going.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they don't have lag time or downtime, and they don't do any of the practices that you guys discussed.
Mhm.
So it kind of helps keep them accountable, which people need. And last but not least, ask for referrals, which is how I built my practice here on the island. Because when the session's over, I would say, hey, don't keep me a secret. Send referrals this way. Here's an extra business card. And word of mouth is powerful,
Mhm. Agreed.
even if you live in Central America. It's powerful. Shivambu is an intuitive medicine. We'll take a couple of minutes here. We're going to take a break here. Shivambu is an intuitive water or medicine. Either you chose the lifestyle or it chose you. After gaining enough experiencing, practicing, are you sure you're ready? Students and clients will seek you out, which can happen slowly, or it can go viral, which is what happened to me.
Hmm.
And I've noticed, I get bragging rights. I noticed that when people associated with my name and with me, their careers took off.
Ah.
Will this work? Ah,
Oh, what's the balloon one? I don't know how to make.
it's different than the thumbs.
I think so.
That's thumbs up. What if I do 2 thumbs up? Well, oh,
Oh, there you
fireworks.
go.
Anything to entertain us. Well, it's so funny. So, yeah, people's careers can kickstart and go quickly before you realize it. Like if you and I ever wanted to do a show and you bring a group together, once the show, I mean, you've seen what's happened to some of our classes. If you ever, I'm just throwing this out to you. Let me turn off the recording. We're back from our break. Urotherapy training class number 29-4. And we're back into the book. Finishing up with this chapter 15 about going pro. Page 199, before we go into how to work with the media. Thank goodness that's what I studied in radio and television in college. So I've already was in that industry anyway.
You're such a diverse background.
Yeah, yeah. All kinds of careers, and some of them were off the books. Some you don't want to say on a recording. So let's keep going. Remember, you are an instrument, a bridge, or a guide for your client to do his own work. Your work is not to save, thank you, Rooster, save, protect, improve, or change anyone, especially the client. The sooner a client can throw away their psychological or mental crutches, concerns, doubts, and fears, and take responsibility for their health care, the faster they will heal and grow. And here's a reminder I added to my book. This is up to you if you want to add it into your notes. Your work is your work. Their work is their work.
Hmm.
Let them do their work.
Love it.
And as soon as you get that down, the sooner you'll stop attracting people who want you to do it for them, which will really suck your energy, will wipe you out.
Yes. Been there, done that.
Thank you. I'm sure the family appreciates that. They always heal themselves. Most clients come to you out of desperation, gave up hope and faith in the medical system, and are looking to you and UT as their last chance to save their life, reclaim their health, and have a quality of life. You may at times, when being approached by new clients, feel like a first responder, which I feel like almost all the time, answering to emergency calls, which can tend to scare you. You might get used to people not knowing that you're in a different time zone and calling you at 4 in the morning. I mean, I got that here in Hawaii. I got used to just, I don't even turn on my phone until I'm ready.
Yeah, I turned on airplane mode at night.
There you go. Let the phone handle it.
Yep.
After facilitating more and more sessions, this becomes second nature to you. You got this. You got this. Now a good time to put this book down, get centered, go pee, start shaking your body, take a shower, do some dancing, yoga, shaking, singing, yelling, chanting, skipping, running, or walking. Keep in mind that on this path, at the last paragraph, we give a lot of thanks to the golden blood plasma water for constantly cleaning, purifying, washing away all our impurities in both body, mind, and spirit, and leaving us with a fresh, clean, clear, calm, balanced, and sane again. I started adding that when I would tell people, well, do you want to feel calm, centered, balanced, present, and sane? Because most people feel they're crazy. And they were led to believe that, which isn't who you really are.
Yes.
It's a mad, 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 mad world out there. And if you give it any of your energy and attention, you'll go mad.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
don't do that.
Where your attention where your attention goes, your energy flows.
Mm-hmm. Where attention goes, energy flows. Chapter 16. Presenting. Let's see, we started at what time? 11:30? We got an hour-ish. All right, working with the media. Some proven promos that will bring greater interest in your work. I tend to write about things that I've experienced, so I won't feel like a hypocrite. So the things you'll find in my books, I use myself as a guinea pig.
Perfect.
I didn't have role models that say you can't do this, so I didn't have any mind talks going, you can't stand out in the street and talk about pee. You know, you can't meet at a public library and use the newspaper and television to drive people to the meeting in the library talking about this. I didn't have any roadblocks.
Perfect.
And it's great when you're the pioneer because you're, carving a path for people. And I did feel a little awkward and embarrassed, but I go, what does that matter? If I don't ever do it, you'll never know if it's possible. It's the same with anything else that you have an urge to take on or follow up on a dream. If you never acted on it, you're going to beat yourself up for never trying.
What's Albert Einstein's quote? It's the people, or maybe it's Steve Jobs, the people that think they're crazy enough to change the world are the ones that do.
Yeah, I think it was a guy from Apple. So whether you're wanting to approach newspapers, magazines, radio stations, television stations, if you still believe in those, podcasts, webinars, social media platforms, this chapter is all about that. It won't go into the great detail that it really takes to know who to approach, how to present it, and so forth. You kind of got to know what subjects they're looking for. When I approached Nexus Magazine of Australia, 10 years earlier, they did an article on urine therapy. Right? So I show up on the scene in 2018 and I reached out to them. I say, can we do it? Can I do an article? Will you interview me? We'll do an article on urine therapy. And they said, we'd love to, but you need to tell us your background and your references. And I didn't know what the heck that was. So they passed on me. And then years later, I figured out what references were. And so, yeah. So you got to know your audience. You got to know who you're approaching and what is it they're looking for. Page 202. And these are basics. When you want to get started in a new career, and this is optional where you want to do this kind of stuff, is first thing you do is you set up your online presence. A blog, a website, a social media platform, anywhere that you can get the word out and you can build an audience.
Mhm.
And if you collaborate, cancel. When you collaborate with others that are already influencers and have a wider audience, then you go a lot further and a lot faster.
Mhm. Mhm.
And ready or not, here it comes. I wasn't ready, and all of a sudden I'm going full tilt boogie for 6 years. It's been great. One of the best ways to get known and gain the respect of readers and possible interested clients is by writing and posting articles and producing videos with UT content that demonstrates your knowledge of the subject. And it was very valuable to me to learn that they want content more than they want you to just sell stuff, even if it's your book or anything. And so you get good at being a content creator. And so they get educated from your content, and then that's going to inspire them to want to go even deeper by getting your book, getting a consultation, taking a class, et cetera, et cetera. That's what that's about. Writing articles reveals your knowledge on the subject, and perhaps you may need to do more research to sharpen your grasp on urine therapy. Or the more you can post content in dozens of UT Facebook groups. Now, since this book came out, I've discovered 30 different groups in Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, WhatsApp. There's groups in Africa and WhatsApp. There's groups in India, WhatsApp. There's groups in South America on Facebook. There's groups from Germany, groups from China. They're all over the place if you do a little research.
Mhm. Mhm.
At one point, critical mass is reached and clients reach out and contact you. There's such a great need for UT teachers and therapists that you will have no problems manifesting clients and students. It did just that for me. Within the first month after my book was released to 12 Amazon distribution centers or countries, 8 radio interviews later, my UT career and mission with Shivamba went viral. And it could happen to you. And fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't have a wife at the time. I didn't have a family, so I could just follow the energy and see where it goes.
Mhm.
Not that I don't want that, but I didn't have that. That's still on my, it's still circling me. There's going to be a new soulmate partner that's going to show up. She better be into this. I got to tell you. Or there's no hope. I mean, that's, I'm going to interview. I learned this from Sandra. You want to get into a relationship, you interview them.
Makes sense.
Long before you do the intimate jump in the bed thing. You want to know the ins and outs, the ups and downs, everything. And then smooth sailing.
Yep. Yep.
Quote. Relationships. That's like the final course on being a human, is being able to have a relationship with anybody.
Mhm. Mhm.
Starting with you.
Yep. Yep.
Getting along with Keegan.
Mhm.
Good job.
Yeah, that's a hard lesson to learn. That's,
Well, Sean's still in training. What, 17 years you've been married?
17 years together. I think this 2007 is when we got together, and then we got married in 2008. Almost exactly a year to the day that we started dating.
Interesting timing. Okay. The next page is some of the promotional ideas that I was using to market my books and to get the subject out there. And so I put them in there in case it stimulates any ideas if you want to create any promotional ideas. Number 1, discover your own free natural immunity booster. I go, what is that? Is that a vitamin? Is it a pill? Is it a supplement? Is it blah. A healthy immune system is the best defense during a flu or so-called pandemic. It relies on the strength of antibodies, vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C, and everything that's in this water. The body blends these nutrients with thousands of substances into ultra-filtered blood plasma water as your perfect elixir. It is also known as Orin. The ancient yogic self-care practice known as Shiva, Shivambu, or Shiva Kalpa, supports a strong immune system, nourishes every system and functions of the body, defends you against viral attack or compromise, and restores health and well-being. It feels great to know about a natural alternative, quote, alternative, without waiting for a vaccine or medication. If the powers to be would have come out publicly and said, you have the cure within you, you don't have to rely on big pharma, the whole world would change.
Oh, yes, I know.
That's why they're keeping it under wraps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It would out them.
Mm-hmm. Well, how long is the I was looking at this the other day, the whatever the big cancer researcher is that they've been doing research since like 1913 and they still haven't found the cure?
Well,
But
they haven't, but there are those who have, and we can discuss this when we turn off the recording. There's actually a new video with Dr. Group, Jonathan Otto, Brian Artis, and the whole gang from the Healing Genesis community
oh, okay.
about what really is cancer
Hmm.
and not what we've been led to believe, which hooks people into that system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it has to do with what comes off the cells and what kind of toxicity your body is dealing with.
Makes sense.
You're not going to catch it from somebody or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's the body responding to what's going on inside.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The good news is that you've been carrying your perfect medicine and elixir of life since you were born, actually before birth. You do not have to rely on the medical system or health food industry to make yourself well. Number 3, urine therapy. What if the medical folks lied to us about urine being a waste product and got it wrong? What a question.
On purpose.
What if, in fact, Orin is a panacea or cure-all in a unique custom-made healing water? Orin may be the answer to our prayers and health concerns. For any questions about Orin therapy or a possible collaboration, contact Keegan-Diana, and here's her information. You'll look at the bottom in the description area, and you'll be able to reach her directly. Good promotion. And number 4, the best immune booster is also free. In these troubled times, it's a great relief to know that we have in our possession both the prevention and the remedy for any illness, virus, or compromised immune system. AUT is an ancient Ayurvedic practice using one's water, which is sterile, natural, antiviral, and antibacterial, to maintain and restore one's health. This is amazing. If you read this far, pay attention. There are countless enthusiasts and devotees who are extremely grateful that drinking their water was just the perfect medicine they were seeking. It was an answer to their prayers. Because of their devotion to their practice, they have learned that no matter what health challenges they may face, UT will restore their health every time. With the UT message being aired on radio and internet shows, TV stations, yep, they even put it out on television and movies, but most people miss it because it sounds like they're making fun of it, but they're really revealing it. Like the people who saw the Matrix movie, some people interpret it as it's just entertainment, it's just a documentary, and other people saw it as a wake-up call.
Yeah. What is they hide the truth in plain sight?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they do that on purpose because they figure you won't get it. Mm-hmm. They also tell you what they're going to be doing, and they give you their game plan.
The universal law of karma.
Karma's a you-know-what. With very little assistance from any publication or media, the UT movement continues to grow and prosper and stay alive in over 50 countries, and we've come up with the statistics of over 500 million users.
Oh.
It is with a grateful and humble heart, as a founder and director of Shivambu, nonprofit organization, UT author, master teacher, and outspoken voice for Shivambu, that I am fully committed and determined to assist in the declassification and acceptance of UT worldwide. Let's see the new president do that. While it's going to tell us about who killed JFK, let's find out about Orange. You didn't hear that, who's ever going to watch this recording. All right. Delete. Drink the living water that matters and share this message with everyone. Let's entertain our minds by thinking and visualizing that our clients and ourselves are already healed. We're just cleaning up our mess with our personal holy water. Bless yourself by honoring your temple with a touch or a drink of Orin for the body. Be sure to love and nurture yourself with rest and play. Any questions so far?
No.
Shall I send a journalist your way?
Oh, sure.
Sean, it's a good thing you got pants on because this is a family show.
I mean, yeah, no, I'm not really comfortable with anybody seeing any of that either.
Noted.
I only do that when I'm playing my video games.
Oh my God, get out of here.
hours of entertainment with that guy. Love it.
Oh, goodness.
So number 17. Here's that number again. Number 17, which happens to be the letter Q. We're not going there. Number 17 is, we kind of went into this part. To charge or not to charge is the question. There are people that are struggling with it. And these are the ones that don't value all the time it took them to study, to research, to have personal experience, to get to know the ins and outs of what this water can do for them, that they'd ever consider it would be valuable enough that people would give them their time, their money, or their energy for them to be a teacher or facilitator. So that's what you have to make peace with. And this other thing you have to get used to, because you'll get your percentage of people, and God knows I've had my share of people going, but the urine is free. Why would you charge for teaching people how to do urine therapy? I said, because not everybody is as smart as you.
Breathwork is free.
Breathing is free, yes, and so is closing your eyes and meditating. But people charge for meditation, people charge for yoga, you're just stretching your body. It's because of everything that they bring to that. And this is why there's some people who will never go to me or to you, because they have poverty mentality and they're not willing to invest in themselves. But those that do are not affected by you charging. I have had clients that go, 125, is that all you asking? You changed my life. I had a guy who tipped me an extra 125. I said, could this happen again? I mean, this is so anything is possible. I'm ready for a repeat. Where's that client? Is he coming back? So charging or not to charge is up to you. And a good way to find out if you do want to charge is to give a percentage of your work away for free. Mm-hmm. And notice what kind of feedback. I learned this from some of my teachers. You give a percentage of your work away for free and practice generosity, and it comes back to prosper you in ways you can never imagine. Mm-hmm. It's the same with people who do volunteer work and their life is richer than money could give them. Mm-hmm. Have you been one of those people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got time.
Volunteered for many things.
All right, so you know what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Whether charge or not is up to you. Do you find the value in your professional service, knowing that it will meet and exceed the needs of your clients? Do you intend for your clients to relax and trust you? It takes as long as it takes for a meaningful relationship to be built. Each consultation requires patience, calmness, sensitivity, and tolerance. Ultimately, it's up to you to set the direction of the session. As with any form of therapy, you are the facilitator. You're not to presume a role as a healer, a savior, or an authority. You're guiding them to have realizations, breakthroughs, aha moments, and in turn, motivate themselves to make the changes you recommend. Since they're relying on you to get results, most of the work is done. The answers to the concerns that they came to you to heal or resolve will be revealed to you. Your work is to teach them how to activate their own innate knowing abilities. Since you read this far in the manual, you probably know how to teach students how to know what they need to know when they need to know it. This is why you're constantly reminding people it's an intuitive.
Mhm.
Life is an intuitive. Your intuition is your guidance system. It's your direct voice for the divine. You know, moving you into situations and positions and relationships and everything that's for your highest good and for the highest good of other people. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. How come it doesn't work on your side?
I don't know. Kind of a bummer. Maybe because you're the host.
Okay, lesson learned. Page 209. Your work is to teach them how to activate their own knowing. I already read that part. Simply remind yourself that this first. Then remind a client that as long as you are telling yourself, I don't know this or I don't know that about this or that, you are blocking any understanding of what you want to know. And did I teach you the power sentences?
I don't think so.
Well, we might as well do them now.
Okay.
These are power statements to transform, liberate, and shift anything you're going through at any one moment. They are called incomplete sentences, or also known as a sentence stem. Here's number one. Up until now. Are you going to memorize it or are you writing it down?
I'm writing it down.
Oh, I don't see your hand move. Oh, God, you're good. Okay. Up until now, you draw a line to the right of the last word. Okay. I'm going to tell you 3 sentences and then I'm going to explain how they work.
Okay.
Number 2. I am open to the possibility of, draw a line to the right of the last word. Keep breathing while we write. Number 3, I choose to know. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You get this down and you put this to memory. You can get clear on things and you can change things really fast and you can teach your clients and your friends and your family how to accelerate their healing. Up until now is everything that you've been dealing with up until now. The challenges, the triggers, the charges, the stories, the suffering, that does not have to go past now. You bring it up to the gate, all right? Up until now, I had a difficult time healing my liver. Up until now, it was difficult for me to get the perfect career. Up until now, I had issues with my partner. Whatever was the up until now part, that's what you finish the sentence with.
I noticed that you're saying that in the past tense also.
Because that's the up until now, right? People like to move it forward and give it more energy by talking about it like it's still going on, like they're not ready to let it go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the second sentence sets you free by choosing a possibility that you never considered. I'm open to the possibility of, and what you fill in the sentence with is your the high expression or the preferred way of being. I'm open to the possibility of healing my liver. I'm open to the possibility of having the most close, intimate, loving relationships ever. I'm open to the possibility of being an uber millionaire. Whatever it is, you get the idea?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The last one is I choose to know. By the way, once you say I'm open to the possibility, this is where the angels can help you out, because they're on standby going, she's not asking, I'm waiting. The universe is waiting to give you its full glory, its unconditional love, and everything your heart desires. God, that sounds good. Was that recorded? All right. So number 3 is response to every time you hear yourself think or say, I don't know. Now, I don't know how to fix that. I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know what to do about this. Right. So what you're telling the universe is you don't want to know. Hold back the wisdom. The moment you start using this sentence, I choose to know, and then you fill in the sentence what you choose to know, how to pilot a helicopter, whatever.
On my list.
Okay, whatever you choose to know, all of a sudden the knowingness drops in. You're not blocking that anymore. So get in the practice of using these sentences. I choose to know. I'm open to the possibility of having my perfect retreat center and community around me. Right? So the universe can rush in and be there and help you manifest whatever it is you choose to know and are open to the possibility of.
Gosh, those sound like great journaling prompts too.
They are. And fortunately, I learned this and put it to memory 40 years ago, and I've been using it in all kinds of different ways. And you'll hear other people, when you're paying attention, you hear people go, I don't know this, I don't know that. I'm going, oh, well, that's why. They keep dialoguing about something that ain't in real time. Well, you're not even here. How you expect anything to change? You're still repeating it like a Groundhog Day, and they're looping in their mind. So use these sentences and breathe a lot. Ay vey. Now move confidently through this new moment as one who knows. The satisfaction comes when the client is self-motivated, when they truly are excited and inspired by their WHY, their why, their success is assured. And that's one of the things you want to get out of people is, what is your why? What is your intention? Why do you want to change this or that? Why? So they can move toward it. And if you did your work, you made a friend for life.
Perfect.
Determining the value or the fee of your UT session is based on what similar professionals are charging or what you think clients would be willing to pay. And that's just the first thing I did, was I looked at all these different professions and saw what was the common fee. What was a fee that was like similar in every one of these professions. And that's how I came up with my fee. And it seems to work for most people. I noticed the massage prices here on the islands, they're anywhere from $135 an hour to a ridiculous $175 an hour to $250 for 90 minutes. I'm going tourist rates. The locals won't pay for that.
Yeah.
So they end up going to massage schools where it's $50 and it's a hit or miss whether the therapists are any good.
Oh, geez.
Or they come to me and negotiate. Whatever. Working with the media, and I already mentioned giving away a number of sessions for free. It gives you an opportunity to practice generosity, as well as you find out if you really know the subject. So the meet and greets really help when you're talking to somebody, and you're dialoguing with somebody, and you find out if you really got a grasp on the subject.
Yeah.
And how skilled you are, or what do you need to hone in on, what do you need to improve on. Working with the media and social media will require doing research into which related subjects they have covered. Your chances of being interviewed or having an article accepted are better when the media that interests you has covered UT before. So I reached out to a magazine in Denver. I was living in Boulder. The magazine is called Westward. and they cover conspiracy theories and they cover controversial stuff. So when I suggested that they interview me about urine therapy, the guy was all for it. And the new form of interviews is not the way it was 30 years ago, where they would meet you in person and bring out their notepad and write down everything, or even with a tape recorder. The guy calls me up and he records our conversation and then transcribes it into the article.
Oh,
He built the
perfect.
article from the recording. So that might be even easier than you. You don't even have to leave your home. If presented properly and content is relative to modern times, your chances of having your article published or being interviewed will be much higher. Hint, they like to have references included in an article. You know what references are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that helps. And you'll see it in all my books now, because I had to learn that lesson if I was going to go into different media platforms.
Mhm.
What do we have back here? Resources, references. There's the references from each chapter. Okay. Your success in doing promotions increases by associating with colleagues and other UT teachers. By constantly studying and keeping current with the Shivambu movement and new discoveries, and building close friends in the water community is to your advantage. One thing about this, this career and being plugged into the worldwide movement is there's something new that's posted almost every day you never heard of.
Mhm.
New testimonials, new inventions, new ways to, I think one guy's using a volcano vaporizer.
Oh,
Instead of vaping cannabis or tobacco, he's vaping urine. I'm going, oh, cool. All right. So people are experimenting with all kinds of ways. Some people are mixing it with all kinds of things, and more power to them.
I came across the piss cocktails PDF the other day, and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Oh, what was in there? What was the name of the book? Was it Piss
Uh,
Cocktail?
I think so, something along those lines.
What's the gist of it?
It's just like smoothies or like mocktails, but with pee in them.
Okay. I think it's clever. I wonder if the guy's really serious about urine therapy or if he's just having a fun time.
I think it may have been in the UT family chat or something where I found it. I'll have to go back and look for it again and send it to you, but
Yeah, thank you. I'll have fun with that guy. As a matter of fact, the Piscabulary of Urinisms is slowly moving toward a second edition.
Mm.
We've been collecting more P jokes and P words from people, and they're being filed away. So I know where to find those things. Oh my God. Any questions about going pro, working with the media, or stepping out of your comfort zone?
I'm sure they'll come up at some point.
No doubt. And enjoy feeling uncomfortable.
Good. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's something I keep telling my kids too. So
It'll get you through a lot easier than fighting. Thank you. The Roosters are always on time. They always know what they affirm and confirm to me all the time. You know, you're talking about something, all of a sudden you get a sign from the universe and you go,
yep.
there,
Yep.
there. All right, chapter 18 was one of my favorites because I got to interview these people that I admired.
Mm.
And then not all the names that I got to interview are in there, but we're going to mention some of them when we get to the superstars. And it's at the end of this chapter. That's the end of this chapter. If I'm up for it, I do a urine therapy rap song.
Hmm. Interesting.
Why not, right? The first person of interest is Ma Davy, and she's the sister from France.
Oh.
And that's her spiritual name. I never knew her other name, her biological name, or whatever they call it, our straw man name. I never knew her birth name. So all I know her as, you're not helping. Ma Devi or Mata Ji is her name. And so we had a lovely interview. It may still be on my YouTube channel. I have to go look it up. But she was such a pure soul in her words and her choices and her acknowledgement of the divine. It was a treat. I had to put her article in here. And she's so devoted to urine therapy that when she takes a shower, she won't use city water. When she takes a bath, she won't use city water. She'll bathe and wash in pure urine and then leave and let it dry. So that's what a purist does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to make the city water any better, ignore it.
Yep. Yep.
And so I do that in an offhanded way. I'll find myself times over at a secluded part of the beach with a quart or two from my car and nobody's on the beach. I just douse myself with Orin, lay out in the sun, take the suit off and just get a full exposure to the sun. And the sun takes care of the drying part. And then I feel awesome.
I was planning on doing that because there was a bit of a secluded part of the beach over there, and I kept telling John about it. I was like, you can be the lookout in case anybody comes over.
Yeah, well, by the time they actually get within like 50 feet of you, you got plenty of time to either dress or walk away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not like all of a sudden they're going to go, I got you. So this is Ma Devi. Let's read a little bit of her really quick here. You'll get a sense of where her soul is and how she writes. Shiva Kalpa, also known as urine therapy, is an ancient holy science bestowed by Shiva to his partner Parvati. The ensemble of practices and techniques were initially kept a secret, only practiced by the seeker of truth, perfect health, divinity, and physical immortality. She mentions it as well. Yay. Since UT is often misunderstood by common human beings, Lord Shiva expressly recommended that it was not for the ignorant, therefore keeping it a secret. Nevertheless, we can find its roots in most cultures and ancient traditions, healing recipes, and rituals as well. UT is indeed a wonderful thing, and there is such perfection in human beings, although UT is forgotten or unknown by the majority of the world. UT is rejuvenating, healing, and holds mystic powers to those who have the fortunate luck to discover it. Fully explore UT, and most of all, stay devoted to their daily UT practices for the long run. UT is wisdom and a tantra yogic sadhana or practice. You can find the qualities of it bestowed on the practitioner in the Shivambu Kalpa, which is the sacred writings. Divine blessings, love and light to all, Ma Devi. Yeah, wonderful soul.
Beautiful.
And then we have Harry Matadine. I fell in love with Harry when I first heard him talk because he sounds like one of the Beatles. That's our brother Harry. He lives in UK. Anyway, this is Harry, and he wrote 3 books on aged urine. So I call him the evolving urine guru because he took it and went further than anybody had up until that time. So he helped to make it more popular in the movement. Let's read a little bit of Harry. He was on a show. I want to give him a little more kudos. Harry went on tabloids in England. You know what a tabloid is, like the National Enquirer?
Yep.
Right? So he put himself on the line. They showed him drinking out of his bottle. And they started off a nice story, and then it gets a little creepier at the end of the story, and so they made fun of him. But that didn't slow him down. He ended up on a television show. That didn't slow him down. And then he ends up on a reality TV show in England, right? And at one point, it's like a Survivor reality TV show. They bring him out to all the contestants that are there that spent like 3 days out in the wild trying to survive. And he comes out wearing an all white robe like a holy man, carrying 2 jars, one with fresh and one with aged urine. So he comes up and he's teaching them about urine therapy, and he convinced them to all drink some fresh urine on camera. And then he pulls out his aged urine and starts chugging it. And he says, "Are you ready for the next level up?" And they stopped at that point. But he was, I don't know, he had the fortune of meeting the producer of the show that put him on that show.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look that up now.
So he's a gutsy brother, and I love him, and that's him.
Awesome.
Your fresh urine, when contained and allowed to sit a while, becomes what we call aged. Like a fine wine, the medicinal powers of the fresh urine grows and grows the longer it's contained and allowed to sit. It is the most powerful medicine on earth. Well, what's going on? Why does it grow in power and potency? What are the mechanisms, I hear you cry? There are many, but the key ones are it's alkaline, oxygen, and high negative ions are explained in his books on Amazon. In Harry's books and his unique style of writing, he answers questions like these about benefits and use of aged urine. How do I age it? What does it smell? Will sending loving thoughts to my urine make a difference? Does aged urine get affected by diet? Are there any other ways to increase the quality of my urine? Do I need to drink fresh before I do aged? What's that white stuff at the bottom of my aged urine? This is Harry. Some of mine are so old now, they get mushroom stuff at the top. At the bottom, it's more powerful than normal aged. I leave you with the rich blessings and a big thank you. I hope aged urine rewards you with optimum health and vitality, youthful vigor, and gratitude for life. We are blessed indeed with our personal pharmacy and its power. Thousands of years from now, this knowledge of aged urine will be normal. It will be mainstream and used by everyone. But until then, you, my friend, are a pioneer, and I salute you. Thank you for carrying the torch forward and showing others the way. Those who use urine therapy and aged urine will always be standing on the right side of history.
Thousands of years from now? I
Well,
think we can make it a shorter time than that.
I think his timeline is a little off, but that's okay. He got the point across. That's important. George Johnson, page 217. Do you see George Johnson there?
Yep.
Okay, he was a pioneer in his own right. He had personal license plates that said Shivambu on it.
Oh, yes, you mentioned that.
He had T-shirts with tie-dye that said Shivambu. He went to Yellowstone National Park and using street chalk wrote in big letters, Shivambu is the answer. Anyway, this is George Johnson. He's out in North Dakota. He's in Montana. We came to the world in water. We're inside the womb of our mother. We drank the water. Where'd it go? We would pee it out, reabsorb it. Why do you think babies are gorgeous, happy, healthy, amazing, soft skin? Because they have the best, most pure health of all people in the world. The infinite creator is a genius, providing us with such an amazing start in our life. The powers that shouldn't be think otherwise, that we need to poison our children with vaccines and such. Once we remember and get back to life the way we started, that's my team right there. Once we get back to the way we started, reabsorbing our own fluids, our life will be transformed. Urine therapy is the most powerful healing therapy in the world. It is the fountain of youth. Urine is the elixir of life. George Johnson. On the right, on the next page is Dr. David Jubb. Have I mentioned him?
Maybe. There's another spot in the book.
He's from Tasmania, which is an island off the southern tip of Australia. He was raised with a family and a grandmother that practiced urine therapy. So he knew about this when he was a young child. And so it's been with him his whole time. Urine, I'm going to skip through a lot of his stuff. Now, I met him at the Water of Life convention in Las Vegas in 2018. And at the time he had mentioned that he hadn't eaten anything in 10 years.
Wow.
So he's basically living off air and urine. And he's walking around the hotel with his contingency of all his groupies and the beautiful women, and everyone's hanging on to him. And he formulates for his company's called Longevity. And so he's a he's a genius. I heard him speak. Actually was fortunate that he endorsed one of my books. And this is his story, Dr. David Jubb. And when you read his stuff, you'll discover why his languaging is the way it is, because he's got that kind of mind who can understand quantum physics.
Mm.
He can understand things that are way out of my bandwidth. So that I wanted to put that in you so you can see kind of things that he talks about. Page 221. Urine is the only thing you'd ever drink except for the moment after our birth, colostrum and breast milk. When growing up as an infant, nothing is better than the nutrient benefits of urine therapy. Urine allows elements of the blood to get to the furthest regions of the human body. Blood ordinarily can't reach inside the nose and intestinal tract. I've seen urine used as subcutaneous lymphatic delivery. UT can stop the effects of a heart attack, turn around an asthmatic or an allergic attack within, within a minute.
Hmm.
Andrew Norton Weber was that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they didn't necessarily do injections, even though urine injections immediately puts it in the bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having to be absorbed and delivered to get to the bloodstream, it's like that.
Yep.
Urine uses overall conditions more than just the local condition as an immune force for an entire system effort to take care of you. David Jubb.
Now, I want to say it was maybe one of Tim's videos. I had heard that and this kind of goes along with the immortality stuff. So we're not, as humans, supposed to even have like breast milk or anything that we could purely live off of and get to a point of kidney reabsorption where that's like where I guess the full-on breatharian is where you would consider that.
That may be part of their secret. There was a guy from India who lived to be, I don't know, he was in his 70s or 80s, but he hadn't eaten anything for 50, 60 years. And they put him through all the scientific tests. They took him to the hospitals and the medical system. They're testing him less, and they could not figure out how is he still alive and he's not eating.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And some people had theorized that he was reabsorbing his urine and recycling it through his body.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the breatharian secret.
Maybe.
I mean, I spent time with Wiley Brooks. He was one of the few known breatharians in the 80s. And I spent a lot of time with him. I drove from Austin to San Antonio where he was doing radio interviews. He wore a 3-piece flannel suit in the middle of the summer. He didn't sweat. He never drank water. He claims he slept 2 hours a week. So who knows what the truth is about breatharians?
Well, I don't think it's just necessarily like, the label of the breatharian, but I think like we have, when you look into because this obviously leads down a whole bunch of other rabbit holes, like when you look into like the possibility of what we can do in, this body and going into our light bodies, I think we're capable of so much more than what we've been led to believe that we are. So that's
that's why it's important to question everything.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And when you think you got it figured out, question that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, even like with the breast milk stuff, both of my sons were just like they would puke up the breast milk constantly. So you have to that makes you wonder well, I don't think it's they have these stomach issues or whatever. Well, what's causing that? Why? Yeah.
Yeah, and it may be maybe the breast milk itself we've outgrown it, or we're not supposed to have it.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory.
I like it. I like it. We need to question everything.
I agree.
Dave Murphy, we're still doing good in our time here. We'll probably end up with the singing, and you can sing along with me if you want. That'd be fun to do a duet. Are you a singer?
No, Sean's the singer.
Are you the musician in the family?
No, I am not. At this point in time, I am not musically inclined at all.
Can you keep up a beat? I mean, any of it?
A little bit.
Okay, well, I'm not going to put you on the spot. Dave Murphy is from England, and he was the first who publicly came out and did a 30-day urine fast. And other people didn't know that that was possible. And so he lived off his urine for 30 days, and he healed whatever he was going through. Dave Murphy is known under the alias of allegedly Dave,
Oh yeah.
because he knows the truth about the birth certificate and other
Mhm.
things. So he says, well, I'm allegedly Dave.
Mhm.
And so he needed to be included. So I put him in there. We've yet to be able to get close enough to do an interview together, but he's been coming out publicly about the flat Earth and about what's going on in the other realms of our world, and he's a go-getter. So Dave Murphy deserved to be acknowledged. And then we move over to Leah Sampson. Leah Sampson, who goes by her Native American or Native Canadian, Canada's America, right? Native American. She goes by the name of Standing White Buffalo because she's, I don't know if she's full-blooded or not, but that's her Native American name. She's up in Canada, I think over on the east side. And she had every possible health problem.
Mm.
Chronic migraines, asthma, hypothyroidism, tendonitis, right elbow and wrist problems, morbidly obese, 250 pounds during pregnancy, diagnosed with cancer, fibromyalgia. The list goes on and on and on. She ends up getting a 3rd-degree burn on her body. And then, as fortune should have it, she gets introduced to urine therapy.
Hmm.
And
Looks
her
like it
life,
found her.
the what?
Looks like it found her.
It found her, and it saved her from the death grip of the medical profession.
Mm.
And everything else that she was having to go through and all the drugs every day to function. A couple pages over, you'll see her before and after pictures and the changes in her skin from the 3rd-degree burns, how it kept improving. My apologies, it's not in color, but hopefully you'll get the idea that her health and her skin condition and her body kept getting better and better.
Mm.
And I got to interview her a while back, maybe 6 years ago. And then 3 years later, she ends up at Mardi Gras in Louisiana with a full Indian feather outfit on, dancing in the streets at Mardi Gras. I'm going, she looked great. And that's Leah.
And she started because she read Martha Christie's book. Hmm.
That was her inspiration. Urine is my own body's perfect medicine, or amniotic fluid, complete with stem cells that helps maintain my health, weight, cognitive function, reduce inflammation, allergies, prevents cancer regrowth, and after receiving 1st and 2nd-degree burns in 2016, it helps me regrow skin, no scars, heal wounds substantially faster. It's also helping me improve my eyesight. Medical doctors had informed me that they cannot tell that I was ever morbidly obese or have the diseases and chronic illness and that I have been diagnosed with. I'm sure when she went to the doctors and he couldn't, in their own amazement, could not figure out like what happened to her. I can imagine her going, give him the raspberry and walk out of his office.
Yeah, yeah.
Read a book. I drink my own urine since discovering that babies were born with soft skin. Fetuses drink their own urine while in the mother's womb. Within 9 months, babies have evolved from a sperm and an egg to a fish known as a fetus that drinks its own urine, and then they evolve into an air-breathing being that is able to walk and speak within a year. That's a miracle. And urine, also known as amniotic fluid, is part of that miracle.
Kind of makes me wonder if assuming you're familiar with water births.
I've been to some.
if I highly regret not ever doing that with any of mine, but that's a whole nother topic. It kind of makes me wonder though, like if you, well, I mean, I'm sure you could, but like doing a water birth in an Orin bath, if the baby would still be able to like breathe.
Well, what the midwives and doulas do at these water births is they wait for the baby to take a breath before they pull it up.
Oh, okay.
Right? Which may cause the parents to panic if they don't know what the doula is up to.
Mhm.
But they've done enough of these water births that they notice the baby, all of a sudden an air bubble comes out of the water. They pull the baby up. Right? And then they set it in the mom somewhere until the umbilical cord stops pulsating. They give it enough, more than enough time before they cut it.
Well, and I've even seen so the primal priestess that I follow, like I don't know how long, but they left the placenta attached to the baby for like quite a longer period of time. It's part of the straw man thing when they cut the umbilical cord dead
Oh,
on
yeah.
arrival.
And you hear about moms that they eat the placenta.
Mhm, mhm.
Guess
So
what for dinner, Dad? Guess what for dinner?
yeah, the lost chakra is I believe what they call it, or the secret chakra.
Which is what? The placenta? What?
The placenta, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I've not heard that term, but I can believe it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on with. We're going to do what time is it now? We got about 7 to 8 minutes before we take off the recording and all heaven breaks loose. Alkovar Marin is a writer from India. And he's one of the guys who wrote books on urine therapy that came out of India. So I wanted to have one of those guys included in the book. So you can see how he is approaching the subject. On page 230, he says, in the second process or stage of filtration of the nephron, it again absorbs more than 90% of the plasma, leaving behind what we know as urine. It was found in 1992 at an institute in Japan that urine is a blood product, not a waste of useless substance. In reality, urine is the most miraculous and mysterious juice in the world that your body made for you to be used as medicine and at the same time as a natural nutrition. These guys have known about this, and most cultures do know about urine therapy. It's usually considered old wives' tales or folklore, but when you know, you know.
Mhm.
And you and everybody else who comes to this answers the call. They either know or they have a curiosity about knowing.
Mhm.
So keep that in mind when you're introducing it to people, that it may not be as far as a stretch as we imagine it is for people, but we have it in our minds. You know how people are wired. Oh yeah, it's going to be hard as hell to convince them. Yeah, it might be just the tipping point, right? We got to stay open to everything.
Exactly.
So should we sing, or do you want me to do this?
What are we singing?
The Cure Lives Within Us by Casey Caban.
Oh, look at that. It's right in the book.
Yeah, do you want to do a duet or a solo? Or do you want me to do a solo?
We can try a duet.
All right. Get up, shake some energy off. Get ready.
All right.
Mama didn't raise no fool. All right, this is how we're going to do it. Let's start a beat. Should we do a call or response? Would that be even easier for you?
Sure.
Okay. What are your ailments?
Are you seeking a cure
Are you given treatments?
that you leave unsure?
Most remedies relieve us, but that doesn't matter.
Making the symptoms when the cure's in our bladder.
Good, good, good. The poisons consumed are always there.
It's in our food, the water and air.
Some we control, no need to assume.
It's simply based on what we consume.
If you don't feel good, do you know why?
Do you pop a pill? Do you pop a pill and hope you don't die?
The cure lives within us. Just look and see.
It's very
It's
simple.
simple.
Start drinking your pee.
Woo! So Casey Caban, his internet surname or alias is We Do Shivambu.
Oh, I love it.
So if you find his Facebook page, it's going to either be We Do Shivambu or Casey Caban. It all depends on where he's at with that right now. And I was fortunate to not only meet him at the Water of Life convention, but we shared the table together because this is from his book on pea poetry.
Oh, e-poetry. I love it.
Yeah, I don't remember what he called the book, but I've asked him if it was okay if my son performed some of his poems and turn it into song. And he gave me his blessing, but we haven't followed through with it yet.
You just missed the singing.
Would love to have you, Sean, but you were busy in the shower. Okay. All right, any questions? Now, when we come back on the 6th of September, does it seem like this year is going fast or no?
I mean, yeah, it's been a little crazy.
Well, there's that, but do you feel like compared to other years, it's going faster or no?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like it's going faster.
All right, I guess we need to meditate more. So when we come back, we're going to look at the superstars. The ones that I have been fortunate to meet are the ones that needed recognition and acknowledgement. And there's going to be a whole list of new names that weren't in the book, which I'll be giving you. We're going to look at the future. I got this vision in 2018 of what the future of urine therapy and Shivambu is going to become. And much of this that was envisioned back then are actually coming true.
Exciting.
Like people having backyard Shivambu hot tubs.
Perfect.
So we're going to go into that. We're going to look at what part does humor play in urine therapy, as you've kind of guessed by coming to my classes. If you don't laugh, you'll pee on yourself, and then you'll laugh even more. So that's a mute point. All right, we're going to look at what is the Shivambu organization that I helped to put together, and then we'll wrap it up with maybe last word from the author. And then you invite when we're all done, you get to invite your parents to the cap and gown ceremony, and we congratulate you. We give you a certificate. You throw your hat up in the air and you hug your mom and go on.
Well, it'll just be Sean because my parents are back in the States and they still don't know that I drink my pee. So, surprise.
Oh, there's something I've been wanting to tell you, Mom. Brace yourself. All right, sis, I'm going to turn off recording.